My name is Jenny Rock from Jenny Rock Coaching, and I wanted to talk to you today about the statistics around women or people leaving abusive relationships. And I thought that was very important because I talk about the dangers. I talk about the emotional side of things. I talk about what they'll do, what they'll say, all of those things I talk about. But what I don't talk about is the numbers. So I thought it was quite important today to address that and to give you some numbers, because I've had a few conversations lately with people that are on the verge of leaving their abusive relationship. And I talked on Monday about making a safe exit plan, but I didn't really explain why. And I'm not doing this today to scare you. I am doing this today so that you are fully informed of the numbers, the statistics. And what I've done is I've pulled up American numbers because it correlates directly. There's probably less guns in the UK, but the numbers are relatively similar in terms of abusive um, incidents and number of deaths, etc. Now, what I've looked at is domestic violence statistics. Okay, so today I'm just going to talk about American domestic violence statistics, and I might do the UK domestic violence statistics another time, or I might just post it up for you guys to have a look at. But there's a set of stats that they're about 10 years old now, but they're still relevant, still very, very relevant actually. In the year prior to the homicide, prior to somebody being murdered by their partner, more than 44% of abusers were arrested, and almost 1/3 of victims contacted the police. That's scary, isn't it? They contacted the police, but they went back. They didn't leave. Only 4% of abused victims had used a domestic violence hotline or shelter within the year prior to being killed by an intimate partner. Now, I'm not saying that it's all men that kill and women that get killed, but the numbers don't lie in that is the majority. That the majority of statistics are that men are the abusers and women are the abused. So I'm sorry if I just kind of, sort of mix genres or something here, but I think it's important. Man, woman, beast, child, whatever, the numbers are the numbers. Okay, so some of the danger factors for intimate partner homicide. So that's when an intimate partner kills somebody. So a husband kills a wife, a boyfriend kills a girlfriend, etc. A girlfriend kills a boyfriend, even. Who knows? But some of the danger factors that you need to be aware of. So jealousy, substance abuse, drugs and/or alcohol, possession of a firearm. That's a big one. Depression or suicidal ideation of abuser. So the whole woe is me, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I might as well die routine. Sorry if I sound a bit jaded on that one, but yeah, I am. Materially motivated, so they want to take the wealth, they want to take the money, they want to keep that standing, that status due to divorce. They want to keep the image and the assets. A prior history of violence, less fear of legal consequences. So somebody that maybe has friends that protect them a little bit when it comes to being arrested or being charged. If they haven't got those legal repercussions that are going to hit them hard in the head, then that actually increases the risk that they're going to kill somebody. Desperation, that's a big one. Desperation, when they've got nothing left to lose. Family history of domestic violence exposure in childhood. So if your partner talks about when they were a child and their one parent abused the other parent, that is a red flag. That is a warning shot there. Okay, so I mean, there's a number of books available. There's a number of research papers that have been published. A guy called Dr. David Adams wrote a book called Why Do They Kill? Men Who Murder Their Intimate Partners. And he is the co-founder as well as the co-director of Emerge, the first counselling program in the nation for men who abuse women. And that was established in 1977. So there is help out there. So when they're looking at kind of like, I suppose, creating a risk assessment for how these situations look, it would, in the instance of high risk of lethality, so there's a high risk that somebody is going to die, they look at prevention, they look at safety planning, fatality review, so data not present in criminal justice records, medical records, and typically only able to gain insights from family members. And most intimate partner violence, 70% of intimate partner violence is never reported or documented, which is why collecting information from family members is critical, because nobody knows about it. It's all done behind closed doors. There was another doctor, Dr. Jacqueline Campbell, national leader in research and advocacy in the field of domestic and intimate partner violence. She holds a joint appointment in the Johns Hopkins University Bloomberg School of Public Health. And from her research, it says of all homicides with female victims, 45% are committed by an intimate partner. And of women killed by men that they know, 63% were killed by a spouse, ex-spouse, or current intimate partner. And between 65 and 80% of female intimate partner homicide victims were previously abused by the partner that killed them. Some big numbers here, guys. There's some really big numbers here. So domestic violence is the single largest risk factor for intimate partner femicide. Over the past 25 years in the US, more intimate partner homicides have been committed with guns than with all other weapons combined. Every other single weapon. So if you are living in a house with no guns, keep it that way. Because the minute you bring a gun into the house, you're bringing a weapon in for them to use against you. Guns are the most frequent means of killing an intimate partner in the States. 57.4% of intimate partner femicides are committed with a gun, and ex-wives are killed with a firearm in 77% of cases. And firearms are more likely to be used in intimate partner homicides than in non-intimate partner homicides. So it's 71.5% of intimate partner homicides versus 60.5% of homicides, non-intimate homicides. So if there's a gun in the house, it makes it easier to commit homicide, and particularly multiple homicides or mass violence. And when previous domestic violence exists, gun ownership increases risk up to 20 times. And I had a conversation with one of my ladies earlier in the week, and they were being advised to go get a gun. And my attitude was, if there's a gun there, then you are handing them a weapon. And I hope and I pray that they took our advice, because it wasn't just me that suggested that they don't get a gun. But yeah, don't get a gun. So taking other variables into consideration, the use of a gun increases the risk of fatality more than 40 times. These numbers are crazy, guys. Crazy. And when laws are in place to restrict firearm purchases for batterers subject to protection orders, there is a 13% reduction in rates. And women who have been strangled by their intimate partner are 7.48 times more likely to be the victim of intimate partner homicide. And approximately 3,300 children are affected by intimate partner femicide each year. So there was a study of intimate partner homicides, and that found that 20% of victims were not the intimate partners themselves, but family members, friends, neighbours, persons who intervened, law enforcement responders, or bystanders. So just because you are the person that has been abused does not mean that in that situation where it's all kicking off, it does not mean that they're just going to aim that gun at you, or they're not going to just hurt you. They're desperate at that point. They will take out anybody that's in their way. So that's some really, really crazy states. I mean, they even murdered them in their workplace. I mean, between 2003 and 2008, so a 5-year period, 142 women were killed in the workplace by their abuser. And 78% of women killed in the workplace during this time frame. That was 78% was the 142. Okay. So, I mean, that's the number of American women who were murdered by current or ex-male partners during the period between 2001 and 2012 was 11,766. And that's nearly double the amount of casualties lost during the war between Afghanistan and Iraq. Double the casualties. Double. And women are much more likely to be victims of intimate partner violence. Well, we know that because we don't have the physical strength to overpower somebody that's bigger and stronger than we are. However, we do have the brain power. So, ladies, we have the means. 85% of domestic abuse victims are women, and 15% men. And too many women have been held captive by domestic violence, whether through physical abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, or a combination of all three. We get inundated with stories about domestic violence, from athletes beating their significant others in public elevators or in their own homes, to celebrities publicly abusing their girlfriends. And the problem is not one that's going to go away quickly or quietly. It's endemic. And discussions about intimate partner abuse and its horrible repercussions should not, in an attempt to illustrate the gravity of abuse all genders, but largely women, face in the US. We rounded up 30 statistics on domestic violence. Basically, we should keep on talking about this, because the more we don't talk about it, the more it happens. The more open we make it, the more that we hold these people to account, and the more that we uphold the standards of acceptable behavior between partners, then the less this will happen. But unless we set that standard, it's not going to happen. And there will be people out there that we just cannot fix. We cannot fix them. They choose us because we're empaths. They choose us because we're kind and we're sweet and we're beautiful, and we want to fix them. We want to help them because we know they're broken. And they tell us these sob stories, and we fall for them. But I'm not going to go down that route, because we already did that in a live a couple of weeks ago. But the number of women murdered every day by a current or former male partner in the US is 3 per day. Okay, 38 million 38,028,000, the number of women who have experienced physical intimate partner violence in their lifetimes. And if you're disabled, you are 40% more likely to experience intimate partner violence, especially severe violence, than women without disabilities. And the number of women in the US who experience physical violence by an intimate partner every year is 4,774,000. And in 2011, 1,509 women were murdered by men they knew. And of those 1,509 women, 926 were killed by an intimate partner, and 264 of those were killed by an intimate partner during an argument. and every minute 20 people are victims of intimate partner violence. So in a 10-year frame, the number of women that were killed by men in domestic violence disputes was 18,000. And 1 in 4 women will be victims of severe violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime. And 1 in 7 men will be the victims of severe violence by an intimate partner in their lifetimes. The stats don't lie. So worldwide, men who were exposed to domestic violence as children were 3 to 4 times more likely to perpetrate intimate partner violence as adults than men who did not experience domestic abuse as children. So, got some stats here from the World Health Organization. 8 million is the number of days of paid work that women lose every year because of the abuse perpetrated against them by current or former male partners. And this loss is equivalent to 32,000 full-time jobs. 40 to 45 is the percentage of women in physically abusive relationships who are raped and assaulted or assaulted during the relationship. 40 to 45%. And a woman is beaten every 9 seconds in the States. So 18.5 million is the number of mental health care visits due to intimate partner violence every year. And $948 is the average cost of emergency care for intimate partner violence related incidents for women. And the average cost for men is $387. And intimate partner violence is the leading cause of female homicide and injury-related deaths during pregnancy. So, looking at stats from the American Psychological Association, 2 in 5 is the number of gay or bisexual men who will experience intimate partner violence in their lifetimes. And 50% is the number of women who will, or the percentage of lesbian women who will experience domestic violence, not necessarily intimate partner violence, in their lifetimes. And 81% of women who are stalked by a current or former male partner are also physically abused by that partner, or have also been physically abused by that partner. So women who are victims of domestic violence are 8 times more likely to be killed by an intimate partner if there are firearms in the home. 8 times. And 70% of women worldwide will experience physical and or sexual abuse by an intimate partner during their lifetime. 70% of us. That's nearly 3/4 of women who will experience domestic abuse. And 98% of financial abuse that occurs in all domestic violence cases. The number one reason domestic violence survivors stay or return to the abusive relationship is because the abuser controls their money supply, leaving them with no financial resources to break free. And Black women experience intimate partner violence at rates 35% higher than white women. There is no excuse for these numbers, guys. There is no excuse for these numbers. I don't care what you went through, with no excuse. This just makes me angry. I'm sorry, but it makes me angry. $5.8 trillion is the estimated cost of incidents of intimate partner violence perpetrated against women in the US in 1995 alone. And 21 is the number of LGBT people murdered by their intimate partners in 2013. 50% of them were people of colour. And this is the highest documented level of domestic violence homicide in the LGBT community in history. And 2.6 times more likely that a transgender person of colour is to become a victim of intimate partner violence than a non-LGBT person. Did you know that domestic violence is the third leading cause of homelessness amongst families? Now, 70 times is the amount of times more likely a woman is to be murdered in the few weeks after leaving her abusive partner than any other time in the relationship. 70 times. Guys, if this is not telling you how serious this is, these numbers should be telling you how serious this is. I know I bang on about it, but I bang on about it because I lived it. I bang on about it because I know so many other people are living it. And I bang on about it because I know that I can get them out and I can help them restart their lives. But these numbers just make me so angry. 10 million is the number of children exposed to domestic violence every single year. 10 million children, 10 million innocent children. And 25% of physical assaults perpetrated against women that are reported annually to the police. So 75% of assaults against women are not reported. Why are we not reporting them? If we report them, they have to do something about it. If we keep reporting them, they have to do something about it. So if you're in the US, there is the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is 1-800-799-7233. In the UK, you have Women's Aid, which is www.womensaid.org.uk. Now, access to firearms yields more than a 5-fold increase in the risk of intimate partner homicide when considering other factors of abuse, according to a recent study suggesting that abusers who possess guns tend to inflict the most severe abuse on their partners. Of females killed with a firearm, almost 2/3 were killed by their intimate partners, and the number of females shot and killed by their husband or intimate partner was more than 3 times higher than the total number murdered by male strangers using all weapons combined in single victim, single offender incidents in 2002. And these numbers are horrific. They're horrible. The statistics are horrific. They're horrible. And the only way that we can stop this is by speaking out and by making it unacceptable to continue with this behaviour, because it's not good enough, guys. And I know there's going to be oh, not all men. The numbers do not lie. I'm not saying that all men are abusers. I'm not. There are some very lovely men out there, but there are also some really bad men out there. And then they wonder why women are scared. And they wonder why women kind of get riled up and start the Me Too movement and start really kind of banging the drum, because these numbers do not lie. Look it up, domestic abuse incidents, statistics, look up the numbers, and you will see that the numbers are completely and utterly unacceptable. And my plea to all of you out there, my plea to all girls and women is to learn about boundaries, learn about staying safe, learn about red flags, learn about saying no. You remember that campaign they had a few years and years and years ago now, just say no to drugs, just say no to abuse, just say no. Do not tolerate it. I know you think you love them. You don't love them, you love the person that you think they are, but they're not that person. It's a lie. And the only way to stop this happening, and the only way to break the cycle, is to bring these people that are doing this to justice, to bang the drum, to tell people that it's not acceptable, it's not okay. It really is not. So my plea to all of you is men, please stop being dicks. Please stop being bullies. Please just stop. Please stop doing these things to women. But I know that the men that watch this aren't the type of men that are going to stop. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I know that the men that watch this are not the type of men that are abusers necessarily. They are the type of men that care, generally speaking, so they have a better understanding of what women go through. The men that abuse women would not sit through this video. They'd just write it all off as a load of bunkum crap, whatever. Yeah, you're such a stupid woman again that's just, making you all riled up, saying I'm wrong and I'm an abuser and oh, I'm not that. Yes, you are. Just open your eyes, see it. But if you're not sure, please, I'm here. Just contact me, email me, look at the website. It's www.jennyrockcoaching.com. Comment on here, and please just know that there is help. There is help, but you have to be brave enough to step forward and say, this is not okay. So ask for help. If you're in that situation, ask for help. If you're scared, ask for help. If you have no one, ask for help. There are always people willing to help. You just have to hold your hand up and just show us that you're there, and we will do everything we can to help you. Okay, let's get these numbers down. We don't want these kind of numbers. They're not nice. They're bad. They're a really bad reflection on our society right now. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it at that before I get on my soapbox again. So, have a wonderful weekend. Just do something nice for yourselves, ladies. And don't tolerate that shit no more. I wish it was that easy. It's really not. But do you know what? We have to start somewhere. So there we go. There's the place to start. So I'm going to say goodbye and good night, and have a wonderful afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time of day it is there for you. And if you have any problems, questions, concerns, just put a comment in. Just send me a message, whatever. Make a connection.